Once again, welcome. We're live here from Wrestling Union 6, and actually, I am pleased to bring you probably one of the greatest bookers of the last 10 years. We have Mr. Gabe Sapolsky, what you should call it, Vice President of Dragon Gate USA, or whatever you want to call it, former longtime booker of Ring of Honor. He actually came up in the Philadelphia wrestling scene underneath Paul Heyman. So, Gabe, you've been around wrestling for a very long time, and you've seen a lot of great wrestlers come and go. You've booked a lot of great wrestlers. So what do you think is the key to finding the next breakout star? Because we've seen what you've done with guys like CM Punk, Bryan Danielson. You see where they are now in their careers versus where they first started when you brought them up. So what would you say to that?
I mean, all I really do is give the guys an opportunity, and basically what you look for is somebody who's professional, somebody who has that kind of work ethic, somebody who has that, really it's an intangible quality that you look for. So, and when a guy has it, he has it. It's pretty much that simple.
Now, coming up in the Philadelphia wrestling scene, you've been privileged to go to many a show at the famed ECW arena. So how was that coming up, being around all those guys, and what did you learn exactly from Paul Heyman and being like a sponge?
I was so lucky to be able to come up in Philadelphia, and the arena is such a special building, and it's just like, it's the atmosphere that place created. You know, it really can be any building. It can be any four walls. But when you get the fans in there, and you get the stuff that Paul Heyman did in there, and ECW, and the legacy that it built, and what it then became to all the wrestling fans, and what it means to everybody, it just became like, it's like a really just special place where that kind of magic is created. And just being able to sit there and learn from Paul Heyman. You know, I used to sit up on the stage, which isn't there anymore in the arena, and I used to just watch him, and then after the shows, you know, he'd call me when he was driving home and want to know, you know, this and that, and then, like, you know, he'd tell me why he did this and that, and it was just such a great learning experience, and you know, it's hard to find that kind of learning experience these days, so I was very lucky to be there and very fortunate.
Now, we see now, within the last couple of years, you've done a lot of stuff with Dragon Gate USA, you have Evolve coming out, so who would you say are the next breakout stars? Because we've seen you take a chance on guys like Chuck Taylor, a Rich Swann, a Johnny Gargano, so who would you say out of all the current crop of the new indie wrestlers, who would you say really has that fire to make it to the next level, even if it's in your companies?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you really just have to look at our roster right now. We have an incredible roster. Ricochet. The thing that I like to look at is like where a guy was a year ago compared to where he is now. And I'm not talking about like place on the card or stuff like that. I'm talking about how hard he's worked to improve and every facet of his game. And a guy like Johnny Gargano, who's improved his look, who's improved his wrestling, who's improved his presence. When you see where he was a year ago or 2 years ago compared to where he is right now, and he shows that kind of ability and that kind of drive to improve that much, you think to yourself, well, where's he going to be next year? You know, he's only going to get better. Where's he going to be 2 years from now? A guy like Ricochet is like that as well. A guy who, like, when I first started booking him on Evolve 1, I mean, he was a flippy guy wearing spandex with no look whatsoever, and he's a superstar right now. I mean, he's got everything going for him. He's got the swagger, he's got the look, he's got the ability, he's refined his wrestling. Absolutely amazing. Pac is going to be, I mean, that's a franchise player. That's a major league guy. I don't know, you know, we're very lucky to have him right now, and I think you're going to see a lot of guys that we have eventually move on, because that's the talent level, and then when we do, we'll have the next crop ready to go. That's what it's all about on this level, you know. It's about understanding, like, you know, I know our spot in the food chain. We're the place where guys come, make their reputation, and get better, and then once they do, they move on. And the people who come along and watch us right now, they get to take part in that ride. They get to say, you know what, I knew Johnny Gargano when he was just in the opening match of Dragon Gate USA. I knew Ricochet when he was in the opening match of Evolve, and now look at these guys. And to me, that's a very special thing, to be part of that journey and to be part of that guy's career from the very start, and that support from the very start, and follow him all the way from success for Dragon Gate USA over to Japan and then eventually to WWE.
Now, what would you say to young, upcoming independent wrestlers like myself or like Ced Andres coming up? What does a guy like Gabe Sapolsky look for?
I mean, it's hard to say. It's that intangible quality, you know. It's that drive and that work ethic, and you know, basically, like some advice to like any independent wrestlers that might be looking for a booking. You know, I hear all the time from guys who are like, you know, I want it and I have a lot of drive and that kind of thing, but you know, you have to show it, you know, because everybody's saying the same thing. Nobody comes to you and says, I don't really want to be part of the promotion. You know, don't book me. Everyone pretty much says the same thing. So it's a matter of proving it and bringing something different to the table and having that special quality, and really it also just comes down to what spot is available on the roster. You know, sometimes you're looking for a big guy, so you need a big guy. Sometimes you're looking for a high flyer, so it depends what kind of spot that you're able to fill too.
All right, well, we thank you for this interview once again. Thank you very much, Gabe. Wrestling Union 6, Santino Brothers Wrestling Academy. You got me, myself, Damien Arsenic. You have the man, Gabe Sapolsky. You heard it here first. And I'll be back with you guys later. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.